My name is Laura Garza, and I'm with the Socialist Workers Party here in Omaha, and we have a couple of candidates who are running in the local elections, one for Mayor, Mauro DeLuca, and Jacob Parasso, who's running for City Council in South Omaha. And we've been part of the fight to demand that the cops who beat up and illegally entered the home of the Johnson family, that they be charged for what they did. It's clear on the video that they throw somebody down on the ground and they punch him once he's been handcuffed. And I think that if it weren't for the fact that a neighbor happened to be taking a video, nobody would have known about this and the cops would have gotten away with it, as is often the case. But I think what's important is people being willing to stand up and fight for themselves and oppose this stuff. And the Johnson family, along with Robert Wagner, who was a previous victim of police brutality, have been a key part of standing up to fight against this, and we wanted to join them because I think there's the only way to take on these things is to demand that charges be brought against the cops so that the firings will stick. And what they usually do, which is they charge the victims, which they did in this case, they tried to, they charge all three Johnson brothers with things like resisting arrest or obstructing the police, that those charges should be dropped because clearly they were doing nothing except trying to, film what was happening to one of the brothers who was being beaten. We're also showing people the Militant newspaper, which is a paper that covers places and times when the working class is standing up to fight for itself. We think with the economic crisis that both the bosses and the government are trying to take that out, the crisis of capitalism, out on the backs of the working class by cutting wages, cutting benefits, passing anti-immigrant laws, anti-worker laws. And we think the only way that's going to change is when we begin to stand up and fight for ourselves. And the Militant covers examples of workers standing up to fight back against these assaults, like the members of the United Mine Workers of America who are fighting against Patriot Coal, which is owned really by Peabody Coal and is trying to declare bankruptcy so it can get out from underpaying pensions and health care to thousands of retired miners. This is the kind of assault that workers in many industries are facing. And, we think the example of what people did here today, standing up to fight, and of what the coal miners are doing, standing up to fight, is going to be the road forward to organize ourselves, to get to the point where we can do something that will really put us in a much better condition, which is for the working class to take power out of the hands of the capitalist class. Right now we suffer under a dictatorship of wealthy big business, where they determine the conditions of life that most of us live under, no matter the social consequences of shutting down production because they can't make enough money, and the massive unemployment that we're facing. So our campaign, we raise things like demanding a federally funded public works program to put the millions of workers who are unemployed and underemployed back to work, because the biggest challenge we face is unemployment and underemployment. It's the thing the bosses use the most to keep wages low, with the threat that if you don't accept these bad conditions and these low wages, someone unemployed who's more desperate than you will. They do the same thing with immigrant workers whose status of not being able to have legal documents means that they get away with paying them less and treating them worse. So we're for all workers having the same rights, and everybody standing up and fighting to organize for our rights.